Hello, Eric Wade here. This is the asynchronous version of student engagement through or with virtual reality. Um, we're going to start off with kind of defining virtual reality. We'll look at virtual reality field trips, some options for creating virtual reality worlds, and then kind of a list of resources at the very end to kind of get you started if you're interested in get going with this. So what is virtual reality? We'll start there. And if you've never done VR before, it's actually quite amazing. It's literally you're put into the world that you're looking at. So if you're under the ocean and you put on the VR goggles, then you are everywhere you turn, you are looking at ocean or space or the Taj Mahal or whatever it is, or a picture that you took, for instance. You can take 3D pictures using a 3D camera or certain phones that have LiDAR cameras. You can take 360-degree pictures with those and use them in virtual reality. Um, it's not to be confused, though, with augmented reality, which like you'd use your phone to digitally add an object to the space that you're in. So it uses the phone's camera or a computer camera to look at the space that you're in. So you see the space that you're in, and then it automatically puts whatever object you want into that space. So it looks like it's really in your room with you, or it's really in the space that you're in when you look at it through the screen. But in reality, it's obviously not there. So they are very, very different from each other. We're going to focus more on virtual reality than augmented reality. But if you're interested in augmented reality, get in touch, and I'd be happy to kind of give you some resources for that. So, but virtual reality is very immersive. It allows folks to go to places that they wouldn't normally be able to go in real life, especially as a classroom, like a field trip or something like that. So let's look at some VR field trips. And basically, the way that would work is you would have the experience of being in this place, at least seeing this place and hearing some of the sights and sound, without actually going there. So if you wanted to go, if you wanted your students to see the Sistine Chapel or to see the Eiffel Tower or to be in a coral reef, then those exist. In fact, this link right here will take you to a Common Sense Media page, and on that Common Sense Media page, there are some really great links to some virtual reality experiences that you can kind of try out. There's some that are some that are free, some cost a little bit of money. They work on basically all types of VR goggles. So if you have something that's like a Google, like a cardboard where you put your phone in it, and you use those, or an Oculus, like it'll all basically work the same way. They may be less interactive with each other, like an Oculus, like a Quest 2 will be incredibly interactive. You'll be able to use the joysticks to get around and do different things. I was just doing one the other day where I was in the International Space Station, and my remote controls were my hands. I was reaching up and grabbing handholds, moving myself virtually through the International Space Station. If you were doing that same thing and you had a pair of like the Google Cardboard, which is just like a set of kind of cardboard glasses with a VR kind of lenses in the inside, and then you put your phone or a cell phone or an iPod in front of in front of the lenses, and it makes your phone view in virtual reality. So you get that immersive experience everywhere you turn your heads. These will work with any of those. All of these are great. Like I said, some are free and some are not, but you can, these all links go to different places that have different experiences, different field trips. So for instance, the National Geographic Education one will take you to the page. And then when you go here and you actually go in, there's all sorts of crazy stuff that you can do on the inside. But what I like about the Common Sense Media version of this is that it gives you really a lot of information as a classroom teacher to be able to use to decide if this is what you want to do. So pros and cons, right? What it is, teaching pieces, and other reviews and such that goes along with it. So this is a really fantastic website. It gives a lot of information, and you can use it to kind of get yourself started on going on field trips. And field trips using VR are really fantastic. You can have even if you have like 2 or 3 sets of VR goggles, then you can station up and have students work through stations and come up and experience it. If you have a class set, then At the very end of this, in my resources page, there's a list of kind of the best VR goggles for the classroom, and some ways to be able to go about getting started with this in your class. So, but going on field trips is fantastic. Like pre-existing virtual reality stuff is really cool. This is a really still kind of emerging technology. The Meta coming out with the Oculus Quest 2s has made a huge difference in the VR world, but it's still very, very, very infant. It's still an infant stage. It's still very young. So there's some glitches. There's some stuff that's great. There's some stuff that's not. So it really takes, the future of VR is going to be people creating things. I mean, I created a VR world of a farm down the street from me using my iPhone because it has a LiDAR camera on it. And that allows you to take virtual reality pictures, if you will, and then use it in a VR environment. So going on field trips is great, but these our students really need to kind of get into this idea of how do we create these things, because those creation experiences are going to be what drives the future. People are going to be making these more and more and more and more, and the cheaper and cheaper and more accessible the VR goggles get, the more likely it is that people are going to get them. So, two of my favorite ways to make virtual reality environments. First one's called Cospaces, and we'll go over these in a second, and the second one's called ThingLink. So let's look at Cospaces first, just real quick. When you go to Cospaces, I'm going to have to log in real quick. Here we are. And you start, I'll just kind of use this one because this one was one I was using with students the other day. This is what you're doing. You are making a virtual reality world that you can look at using a pair of VR goggles of pretty much any kind. Any of them work fine. So when you look through your goggles, you're looking through the camera angle of things. This is what you see. You're immersed in this world. But you start with a blank slate. So when I go back here, this is where you start. It's just nothing. It's just a blank area that you can work with. And there's all sorts of things you can do with this. And I'm not going to, this isn't a CoSpaces PD. If you're interested in learning more about CoSpaces, I'll be happy to work with you. But you build your environment. You can you can add one of the pre-existing ones, or if you have a 3D camera, or you have a way of getting three-dimensional like VR images to be able to put in here, you could add your own. There's also, you can do web searches for them. Let me move this out of the way. You can do web searches and find your own. You can build, you could build an object in like a Tinkercad or SketchUp and download it either as a as a file and be able to do 3D here. There's an OBJ. You can upload it and put it in here. There's this amazing things you can do. The library has all sorts of stuff. This is free, except for this, obviously, some kind of stuff that's behind a paywall here. There's the locks on it. But there is quite a bit of free stuff that you can work with. That is a great place for kids to start building out virtual reality worlds. And you can see all the categories down here that they can work with. But basically, you pick your environment. So we'll just pick this one, and it drops you in here. And here you are. You're in that world. And you build in this grid space down here on the bottom. You can add sounds, you can add images to the floor. There's a million things you can do with this in the free version, which are fantastic. You can also share it so that you can, if a student created this in your class and you needed to share this with the teacher, either because hold on, we'll wait for it. You can share it just as the link so that you can just go there and look at it. Or if you're using a pair of VR goggles, you can go to the Cospaces either app on an iPhone or go to the website on like an Oculus and put this code in there, or use the camera to look at the QR code, and you'll be able to, it'll take you right to the world where you can interact with it. Really great website, really great user-friendly way of creating a virtual reality space. Now, the other one is what's called ThingLink. ThingLink is a bit different. You can absolutely, it comes with a library of places that are virtual reality, so you can go into any of these and see what they look like in the VR world. They're not interactive, they're just images of what it looks like. So it's all there. There's a learning center here where you can kind of learn about the different pieces. But if you wanted to build content, you want to create, What this difference between ThingLink and Cospaces is that Cospaces is just VR. ThingLink gives you the opportunity to do all sorts of other stuff along with that. So you can create a VR experience if you want to. You can create a 3D model, but you can also use an image and add tags to it so that it gives information about that. You can add a floor plan. You can do a presentation here. So we'll click on that real quick. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do. Oops. In here that I don't know why it's doing. There we go. And here's an example of one right now where each of these are, you can add these little parts on there, and what they do, the little dots, and what they do is they are little ways of getting attention, right? They just expand on this dot or this idea of focusing and give more information about that. And then you go to integrity and click on that dot, and you get the definition of integrity along with all the pieces that go with it. ThingLink is fantastic. It's really, really good. It is one of the things that I really like about this over a Cospaces is that there's a lot more flexibility in what you can build. You just drag the image in here or take it from your Google Classroom or whatever, or your Google Drive. You can, there's, presentation tips is also some stuff there. You can make demos or aerial views or whatever. There's so much here that you can do, not just VR. That's one of the things I really like about ThingLink. That's why I wanted to put it on here for everybody to look at. So both are great, very different from each other, but both are fantastic. They are a really great way for students to create content rather than just be a part of the content that has already been created. It gives them a chance to really build, to create instead of consume. That's the word I was looking for. And then last but not least, we're looking at resources here. So this article right here is on picking which VR headset you think would be best for your classroom. This one is about, this is just the headset. So this is like an Oculus or something like that. This link will take you to VR viewers that you would use with a cell phone. So like kind of like a Google Cardboard or type of thing, which is the next link, which is Google Cardboard. Google Cardboard, Google's VR department has kind of stopped, but all the stuff still exists. You still order all these things, and they're good. They're fine. They do a good job. There's all sorts of things you can do with them. This website just by itself, though, is fantastic because it has some really great ideas of some things that you can create, which is why I included it on here. But it also, you can buy Google Cardboard still. And then this last link is looking at ways to get started with this. How do you get really rolling with VR? It's a fantastic website. That's kind of a good starting point for everything. So you have some choices here on how to choose. Like gives you kind of options on what you could work with. A website that can give you ideas and some ideas on how to get started using VR in your classroom. And that's it. So I'm happy to meet. We can talk anytime if you are interested in VR and you want to kind of dive a little bit deeper. No problem at all. Feel free to email me anytime. Follow me on Twitter or at MEMathScience. If you're interested in a contact hour, just click this link. It'll take you to a quick quiz. Just two quick questions, one question and one like, do you have any other ideas? Hit submit. There's a contact hour on the thank you page. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Take care.